Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter here at the workbench. So, to start off the 4.5 shootout series, I'm going to reach out to you all again. I have, I believe it to be a type 15 or 16, 4.5. I'm looking for something in the same age in a 604.5 to use in the shootout. If you have a 604.5 smooth sole in bench ready condition, I don't mind if I have to flatten the sole a little bit or if I need to sharpen. That's a non-issue. But as long as it's in bench ready condition, would you loan it to us? We'll use it in the series. After the shootout, pack it up, insure it, and ship it back to you. We are going to still look for help. We have had a donation. We get some more donations in to cover the shipping costs of sending these planes back. So I just put a fresh keen edge on my 4.5. And what I was thinking is that what we would do is we would break down the 4.5, and then in each video, open a box, get the Clifton, get the import, take each plane, one per video, and take them apart, put them back together, sharpen them all exactly the same, and then do some planing with it and put it aside. When all of the planes have been featured individually, then we can go ahead and do the shootout. How that's going to happen yet, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But so far, we got 2 boxes in the mail. There's 1 plane in here, and I believe there's 2 planes in here. And to those companies who have supplied these, which I'm not saying yet, thank you very much. I'm very, very proud to be part of this woodworking community. When you reach out to somebody and say, this is what we're thinking of doing, we would like to have your product included if you wish to send it to us. And I did not ask for brand new ones. I said, if you have an older demo model, that would be super, because that way it's already been used. So it's a good comparison. But they step right up and they're willing to help you. So there's a third company, large company, that should be sending at least 1 plane. And I did reach out to a couple of others overseas, but I don't think we'll hear back from them. The benefit to them is minimal. Even though we reach a worldwide audience, believe it or not, I get a lot of views from countries in Europe. So there's that. Yeah, if you notice, the ladder made it back in the shop. Blew a bulb. That's a 150 watt incandescent. You can't buy these anymore. I just so happen to have had a little bit of forethought, and I bought a few extras. Yeah, you know me. I like to have backup. But yeah, this one was up over yonder. So bye-bye. Whoops. So there is 2 aspects of the Stanley Bailey pattern planes that I noticed and would like to share with you because if you've experienced this problem, there's some simple solutions. Number one, your lever cap. Okay, if you have a knuckled lever cap that has a spring, it's not just the knuckle that's important. It is how tight the lever cap screw is and how it is mating at the front. Okay, the goal here is to have the front mating at least in two good spaces, preferably even across, but as long as two even spaces and the spring. So when you put your lever cap on, how tight should it be? You have to test this on your plane. When you put the lever cap down, you should hear a little bit of a snap. Okay? But it still could be too loose or too tight. How you know if it's set tight is if you hold the plane down and you reach up and grab the blade and you try to move the blade left and right. It should not move easily. You can force it, but it should not move freely. Okay? Now, how to check if it's too tight is if you go to push the lateral, okay? You go to adjust the lateral and it's tight. It's hard to move. Or you go to advance the nut. Some people call it a wheel. And if the wheel does not advance the blade with minimal resistance or retract it with minimal resistance, then it's too tight. So all you do is you pop the cap, either tighten or loosen the screw. I want to show you, if I loosen the screw too much, it still will snap, but see that? How I can move the blade just by touching it? That's too loose. Not Toulouse-Lautrec, but too loose. So it's best to lift the lever, adjust the screw with the proper size screwdriver. Don't mess up the screw head. And you give that about 1/8 of a turn. Make sure it's centered. Snap it down again. Test it again. And if the blade does not move, that's tight enough. Okay, you don't have to go any tighter. So that's one pro tip. Second pro tip. If, and it doesn't usually happen on the kidney-shaped holes, usually happens on the keyhole-shaped ones. If, let's say, you just sharpened the blade, and you're putting it back in, what I like to do is make sure that the yoke is in the center of the slot, make sure that the lateral is in the center, and I like to bring the yoke up a turn. Then I put my lever cap on. I like to center the lever cap, lock it down. Now, you will have retracted the blade and you'll get no cut. So you can do the whole sighting thing and everything else, but you can also just simply advance the blade a little bit on a piece of wood until you hear it start to grab. There it is. And in this instance, I am dead on center. So I'm sorry. If it were taking a cut to one side, you would move the lateral over. If we're taking a cut to the other side, you move the lateral over that way until you get that center cut. Super, super fine. Now, go back in the Wayback Time Machine. I made mention when it comes to moving parts that you have to tighten to advance. You always want to be in tightening mode, not retracting mode. Always want to be in tightening mode. So you're better off having a super fine cut coming out than a heavy cut, because if you have a heavy cut, here's what can happen. If you back off, and let's just say your lever cap may be a little bit tight, but the screw holding your chip breaker and your blade may not be tight enough, you can actually pull the chip breaker up before the blade. You following me? So that is why I say you always want to be in advance or in tightening mode, okay? If you need to back up, and then go in tightening mode again. But if something is no longer cutting right, you better take it apart right away. Check your blade and your chip breaker, make sure they're set properly and the screw is tight. Not so tight that you can't untighten it. So those are two observations I have had where people have problems adjusting their planes. So that's where we are right now. And I think what I'll do is I'll hold off and do a separate video now, taking this completely apart, because this has gone on long. We're at almost 13 minutes. So if you know somebody who has a 604.5 smooth sole, contact me. If you have one, contact me. I really would like to compare the basic 4.5 to the 604.5. Hope this was helpful to somebody, and I'm so glad that you stopped by. It means a lot to me. I'm wishing you a wonderful day. Head out to your workshop. Go make some shavings. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Walter out.